Hello, welcome back to the Cricket Nerds. And today is the India special. We're going to be talking about the India versus Bangladesh test match that just started. So, day one of that. And we're going to be chatting about the IPL auction because the list has been released. And we're both very excited because we are sad nerds with nothing better to do than to follow an auction. Mm-hmm. So that's something. But the best thing is that you are all nerds too, and you are all fans of the auction. So, we're not alone. So we're going to start off with India versus Bangladesh, the test series. Now, the ODIs did not go India's way. The last ODI did. However, the test series has started. This is where the real cricket comes in. Okay, this is the real nitty gritty stuff. This is what we want to see. Rohit notably out because of did he hurt his thumb or something? And I remember him batting at 8 because he was injured. So we've got a new opening partnership of KL Rahul and Shubman Gill, and I've got to say, two of the nicest stroke players I've ever seen in cricket, but neither of them did very well at the top of the order. So yeah, like it's been an interesting first day of cricket. What are your overall thoughts? Because India end the day, if you haven't seen it, on 278 for 6 after a full 90 overs of test cricket, which I haven't seen for a while watching this Pakistan series. But yeah, 278 for 6 after the first day.
It's a classic test match day, really. Run rate bang on 3 and over, what we expect. None of this baseball nonsense. Proper gritty over my dead body test match. Pujara 90 off 203 deliveries and a perfect test match innings, exactly like we want to see. I think India will be pleased to get off to a decent start. I think they may be disappointed that another one of their top order batters aren't still there. I mean, Shreyas Iyer looks good on his 82. So he'll be, nervous overnight. Can he get to that test match century tomorrow? And there's still some batting to come. I mean, Ravi Ashwin in at number 8 can hold the bat the right way around, which is more than can be said for Kuldeep Yadav, Umesh Yadav and Mohammad Siraj. So, a relatively long tail there, aside from Ashwin. It just looked like a standard day of Test cricket. I didn't get to watch any of it. It's not a Test match that's being broadcast in the UK. So nothing that we can do really about it. We can just look from what we can see in the match reports. But it looks like Khalil Ahmed, who we know and love from the T20 World Cup for Bangladesh, came in and got this first wicket and looked like he was bowling quite nicely. But yeah, it looks like a standard day of Test cricket. One notable thing, though, is Mr. Virat Kohli out for 1. I mean, at one point, India were 48 for 3, which is a Test match scorecard that we were, getting pretty used to as England fans in 2021.
It was looking shaky for them, and I've got to say, Bangladesh have bowled really well. Tajul Islam, which I've probably mispronounced, but that's the problem with not having the commentary. 30 overs, but 3 wickets at 2.8. That's very good, and it's shown like there've been big wickets as well. You got Gill, Pujara, and Kohli. So that's a really dangerous 3 that you've managed to bag there. I did manage to see some through scouring the absolute depths of the internet and probably giving myself 6 viruses. Managed to see some highlights of Shreyas Iyer, and I got to say, the way he was playing spin was beautiful. He was really, really good, and I think he is just an excellent find for India. I personally would put him at 5 over Rishabh Pant. I would have Pant at 6. But yeah, I think what a player. And I feel like we say this every single time we talk about the Indian national side, where we're like, they've got so much depth, but they really do. Shreyas Iyer has only just started his Test career, and yet we've known about him for years because of the IPL. he's been outstanding. He's played ODIs, he's played T20s, he's been brilliant in all of them. And his the quality of his batting in this test side, and the fact that you don't even know it, like if they were playing in the for the World Test Championship in the final, would Shreyas Iyer get into that? You don't know. What a ridiculous proposition, and what a beautiful thing for India to have. But yeah, he's really saved that innings. The partnership between him and Pujara was the life of that of this first day. And yeah, I agree. It's a standard first day of Test match cricket. I'd say they've definitely lost more wickets than they'd have hoped for. But you don't know what it's going to be like until both teams bat on it. And I think we could see Bangladesh getting bundled out for quite a low score here. I hope we don't, because I want it to be a good Test match. And if you think you've still got the likes of Liton Das and Shakib Al Hassan and Yasser Ali, that they're all players that I want to see do well. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, that's where we're at.
I think one thing that was interesting, because there was a bit of conversation before this game about what India's team composition was going to be, because they were looking closely at that, whether they were going to go with the 3 spin option or go with 2 seamers, or go with 3 seamers. Sorry, and you can see that on the on these pitches in Bangladesh, they've decided to go with that spin attack, and that's, I think, a bit of a scary prospect for Bangladesh when they come to bat, because they've got the genius right arm off spin, which goes both ways from Ravi Ashwin. They've got some very consistent left arm orthodox from Akshar Patel. And then they've got the genius of Kuldeep Yadav with his left arm leg spin that does all sorts of problems for everyone. Or his left arm wrist spin, sorry, as I should say. Backed up with raw pace of Umesh and Siraj. Normally would expect to see that would actually be Shami and Bumrah. But again, the fact that you can bring out Umesh Yadav and Mohammad Siraj, who are, again, 2 world-class players, 2 players that we see year in, year out do well in the IPL, go for big money. Yeah, it's really big. So yeah, it'll be an interesting Test match. We'll be keeping our eyes on it. We want to hear your thoughts on it. What did you think? India chose the right team players? Is Shreyas Iyer batting in the right spot? Should Pant drop down to number 6? We all think he should. But yeah, very interesting, isn't it? Shall we talk about the IPL?
Yes. Yeah, let's talk about the IPL.
So the IPL auction list has finally been released, which is very exciting. And it's something that each year I look forward to, and I get my spreadsheet out, and it's very sad. I'm
You're
really
just so
excited.
nerdy.
I'm really excited for it this year. Now we've got our sets, as we always expect, and there are some really interesting and big names in these sets this year. There's some players that we're looking out for. I mean, just in the first set, former Punjab Kings captain Mayank Agarwal's in there. Harry Brook, who's had an absolute blinder of a World Cup. Riley Russo, Kane Williamson. I mean, everyone apart from Ajinkya Rahane is a massive name. And then Ajinkya Rahane in his day was a massive name as well in that first set. But I think all eyes are going to be on set 2, because we have Cameron Green, Sam Curran, and Ben Stokes. James, do you think they're going to go for big money?
Absolutely, I do. I think it's what we've seen from previous auctions is the order in which players come up really impacts the auction dynamics and the way that teams decide to spend money. Last year we had a marquee set, which was like, I don't know, I think it was just made up of the players that everybody thought was going to go for the most. So it had people like David Warner and Shikhar Dhawan, Kagisa Rabada, etc. And they were all players that people thought would go for tons of money. And some of them did, and some of them really didn't. Like David Warner went for next to nothing, which was insane. No one was expecting that. And at the same time, yeah, Shikhar Dhawan went for loads. So I think it could really affect the way that teams decide to buy because I think you're absolutely right. That second set is going to be the biggest one. Sam Curran, I think, is going to go for tons. Ben Stokes, I think, could probably be the most expensive player at the auction because he offers that ability of everything and also like a bit of captaincy, if not captaincy, then vice captaincy kind of role. And Cameron Green, I think, could get big money. I think he's more of a wild card. He's less proven than the other two, but he's still very exciting. And if Australia see him as the future of all three formats, then you can rest assured that a lot of the IPL teams will also be looking at him in the same way. But I think that first set is quite exciting. Like you said with Mayank, that's a big one. I think Harry Brook is going to be amazing in years to come. So for a team to bag him early would be a really good move. So I could see him wearing yellow. And as much as I want to say, Harry Brook's going to be a Punjab legend for years to come, I think getting him now, in the same way that Mumbai have managed to get Dewald Brevis, it's like you're getting a really good player just before they're really hitting their stride. And I could honestly see Harry Brook wearing yellow. What do you think?
It's not a very Chennai Super Kings move. They'll more likely go for someone like Kane Williamson, won't they?
Probably.
You know,
they'll go for a Jinky Rahane.
Just looking at his age, I mean, Harry Brook's 24. He's got at least 6 years before he's even considered for selection for a Chennai Super Kings. No, that is tongue in cheek, but I'd love to see someone like Harry Brook go for into Chennai. I'm actually also really pleased to see Joe Root back in the auction now that he's given up his England Test captaincy, got a bit more freedom, a bit more time. Why not go into the auction? And we forget how good of a T20 player Joe Root is. He offers, that fantastic couple of overs of spin bowling here and there, and he's a very tidy batter. He's got all of the shots. He can bat right-handed and left-handed. Reverse scooping people all over the place. I think he's a solid player. He plays at that sort of David Milan role in my book, and yeah, excited to see him in there. And yeah, can't wait until next Friday for the auction. I will be watching.
Yeah, and let us know. Give us a like or whatever. Comment if you think we should do a live stream of the IPL auction, because it's not something we're gonna write off just yet. Like, if there is interest in it, then we might do it. But yeah, just also, sorry, go on.
As in, one thing also I want to see. Let us know who you want your teams to buy. Who do you want your teams to pick up in the auction? Who do you want your teams to be targeting? Because yeah, that would be start that conversation in the comments. We'll join in.
Yeah. Now, I realize we could carry on going through the auction list, and we might end up doing another video where we go through the auction list a bit more, because I'm getting excited just by reading names in a spreadsheet, and it's making me equally happy and sad. So I think we should move on, and we should go on to some Cricket Nerds questions, or particularly a Cricket Nerds question that we've got. And it's from some more of the same. Thank you very much for your comment. And it was about the catch in the England versus Pakistan game, the second test. Ollie Pope to get to take the big wicket, and some more of the same basically said he thinks the video was inconclusive. You could maybe have a pretty good guess, but you can see people coming up out and not out when they do this, when they do that on this one. Okay, so I'll try and skip parts of it because it's a very long one. So he said, I'm not 100% sure on this, boys, or commentators. Please contribute. But my understanding is that if the umpires had any doubt about whether it was a catch, they should be soft signaling not out and reviewing to confirm. They signaled out, indicating to me they were sure, but reviewing to confirm. I'm happy with this. Umpires in many situations see an awful lot from their positions that cameras sometimes can't. But my query comes to the soft signal. Is that actually how it works? Is an out soft signal an indicator of an umpire's conviction? And if so, do we think there's any wiggle room for that decision to be made differently or more loosely by umpires, given they have knowledge that there's the DRS backstop? I'd be interested to know, because that's the only potential place I would argue the current system may not be serving the game best when it comes up against inconclusive video evidence. Thoughts?
Okay, I have some thoughts on this. I have thought this because I read this comment the other day. And to the best of my knowledge, the way that the soft signal system works is the umpire gives, as far as they can see, what decision they think it should be, right? I appreciate that probably made no sense because I said that in a very convoluted way. But the umpire can only give what they think. They can give what they have seen. And there's a lot to do as an umpire. Now, he saw there was a definite edge, and it looked from the umpire's perspective, as Murray Erasmus judged it, that he had caught the ball. It isn't, oh, I'm not sure, I'm going to give it a soft signal not out. The soft signal on field, as far as I am aware, is meant to be what the umpire has seen, how they have judged it there and then. When an umpire reviews it, it's because they're not entirely sure. If the umpire was completely convinced that it was out, he'd have given it out, and there wouldn't have been any question there at all. But he judged it and said, look, as far as I can see, it's out. And at that point, when the soft signal is given, there needs to be clear and definite evidence to overturn that decision. Now, there can be an argument either way on this. Is it the best way of it supporting the game or not? I don't know. I think it adds a little bit to the charm of cricket. That at the end of the day, we're all humans. Batters make mistakes, bowlers make mistakes, sometimes even umpires make mistakes. And we forget that, don't we? That umpires are humans too. Like, they're not robots. And the fact that there was a decision to be made on field, they have to act within the best of their ability, within the best evidence that they have. So I have no issue with the way that that was given. If it was against an England player, that's just sometimes the way the game goes. I think, we've all been given dodgy LBW decisions when playing village cricket, where we know we've middled it onto our pads. We all know that that's happened, and we know it's part of the game of cricket, and it's part of that charm. I think there's an argument to say at the elite level it shouldn't happen, but in the same way that cricket is a game with laws and not rules, but with the spirit of the game in there as well, I think it just adds to that charm. And it's not something that I think is ever going to go away or change. And I think that system is there for a reason, The umpires are paid. They're the most elite umpires in the world to come and judge and give their decisions. The only one who shouldn't be on that panel is Nitin Menon because he's trash.
Oh, the rest of I like Nitin Menon. I really like him. Him and... how do you say his name? K. Anantha Padma Badman or something like that. Two of my favourite umpires. I think they're brilliant. Choke on your line.
What do you think, James?
So I agree that if the umpire has a solid opinion, then that should be the soft signal. And I'm all for a soft signal in that situation because a lot of the time you're absolutely right. The cameras aren't completely definitive. Like, you can look at it from different angles and come to different conclusions. I think if the umpire genuinely does think that it is out or not out, then the best system is to say, okay, that's the assumption. If you can overturn it, then we'll overturn it. Completely with you. However, when they're just not sure, when they've literally got no idea, then that's a little bit more confusing. And that's where I think there needs to be a bit more nuance. We did get another comment from Damn Selfish 834. My apologies. Who isn't Aussie, so we're going to take his opinion with a pinch of salt. But he basically said that all reviews should be not guilty until proven otherwise. So if an umpire is fairly sure the catch was taken, but reviewing it just to check, then the camera should have no difficulty in cleanly displaying that fingers or gloves are under the ball and remain under the ball until the catch is claimed. So because the catch was inconclusive, the decision should be not out, is his opinion. I think there is a bit more nuance. I do think that, like I said, the current soft signal, if an umpire is sure, system is fine. However, if they're really not sure, then what should be the default decision? Should it be out? Should it be not out? Because a lot of the time, if they're not sure, and then it gets sent up to the third umpire, and they've got no idea either, like it's a real 50-50, then where are we? Well, who makes that final call? And I think that's why we have soft signals for every umpire's review. Yeah, it's a very interesting one, and we'd love to know what your opinions are in the comments, because it's something that affects a lot of games. Every time a test match comes down to it, with a catch, was it out, was it not? Then we have these conversations. So it'd be good to kind of hear what you guys think as well.
Yeah.
I
think,
yeah, I think we're gonna end it there.
Yeah, let's do it.
So thank you so much for watching. Like I say, let us know down below if you want to see a live stream of the IPL auction. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your continued support. We're racing towards the target of 1,000 subscribers. So don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. You can also follow our social medias. We are at Cricket Nerds Pod, and you can listen to our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more. So other than that, it's goodbye from me and goodbye from Benji.